I was just very, and still I'm just so grateful because this is completely independent music and the fact that it's connecting in this way and the fact that it's a pop song about meditating and all of that is really cool.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kelly Clarkson.
Hey, it's Steve McRae.
Hey, I'm Josh from the band Need to Breathe.
I'm Olivia Lunny.
We are so excited to welcome to the Kelly Alexander Show, Akon. Hi.
What up, Kels?
Hey, I'm Judy Gold.
And I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show.
This is Jordan, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm Rob, and I'm hanging out on the Kelly Alexander Show.
I'm hanging out with the Kelly Alexander Show right now.
Jealous?
I am so excited to welcome this fantastic artist back to the Kelly Alexander Show. This is our third time talking, 2013, 2018, and now 2025.
Wow, we
It's
take our
crazy.
time.
Miss ANJULIE, who has done so many amazing things, successful songs in her own right, which we're going to talk to, her new latest one, Chai and Sunshine, and then of course writing for other artists like Kelly Clarkson and Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj and Nelly Furtado, and the list goes on and on. So very excited. Thank you so much for coming back on the show, ANJULIE.
Thank you so much for having me and supporting me since 2013. I
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
always, always, always. And I'm so happy, I think, just to start that, like, you're still doing it, right? Like all these years
Mhm.
later. So my first question actually for you would be, when I spoke to you last in 2018, I want to know what the ride has been like the last 6 years, especially you navigating pandemic.
Well, I think the most consistent thing about me is making music. I really do love it. And no matter what kind of roller coaster situation the music industry offers me, I've always been able to kind of like come back to writing songs. So in the pandemic, I wrote an album and released it called Loveless Metropolis, which I produced by myself as well as co-produced with different friends of mine. And then I started doing more collaborations, and then more recently I decided, you know what, I'm gonna start making a body of work that really expresses how I feel, because I think sometimes when you're a professional songwriter or even probably a professional producer, you get into this world of living vicariously through these other artists and like, helping them build what they want to say in their world. And I was like, I love doing that. It's like one of my favorite things to do. But I also had this like little thing that started bubbling up in me, being like, I want to say something, So that's kind of where Chai and Sunshine and these new songs came from. It was just talking about like how I feel and how I'm processing the world. And it's like I'm trying to create a little bit of peace and quiet in what feels like a very chaotic environment right now.
Well, first of all, I'd like for you to tell us how Chai and Sunshine came about and how challenging or not challenging the writing of that song was. And also, did you know you had something special? Because it has taken off.
Thank you. Yeah, I knew I had something special just because it really is my life philosophy, Chai and Sunshine. Like when things or what I aspire my life philosophy to be as well, right? Like when things throw you off, and again, like the entertainment industry is constantly changing. Music is on the front lines of defense. And so I've seen it through, when there was no TikTok or social media, and then when streaming came along, and now with the advent of social media being the main driver for promotion, like I've kind of like come through all these different eras and had to like sink or swim. And luckily I've been able to, tread water a little bit and figure it out. And so the song for me was it's kind of like my MO about how I've been able to deal and what my advice would be like to the younger artists that I'm working with, or even myself when I was coming up, which is just to like, you know, hold true to your dreams and what you want, but also be authentic. You know what I mean? Like don't get so caught up in this chase that you lose yourself. And I think going through being on a really huge major label to being independent, I had to grapple with all of those things of, people having opinions on how I should have my hair and how I should dress and how I should sound and who I should work with and what my ethnicity meant my songs should sound like, and all of that I had to kind of just like shut off and just listen to what I really wanted to say.
Now, when you got the word, and I'd love for you to tell us how you got the word that both Rihanna and Selena Gomez are fans of Chai and Sunshine. So tell us how you found out and what that meant to you.
Well, Rihanna DM'd me and I made a whole song about it because I was that excited. And she said it was stuck in her head. And she also loved this other song I wrote called Things I Used to Know. And I was just, I mean, I had heard from her in the pandemic as well. We were just chatting a little bit, and I've always been a huge fan of hers. There was a song that I think back in the day her label wanted, but my label wouldn't give it up and all that. So we had known, well, obviously everyone knows about Rihanna, but she had known about me through songwriting and through, submitting songs to her. And then we reconnected a little bit in the pandemic. And then when she heard my new songs, Things I Used to Know and Chai and Sunshine, she just really connected to what I was talking about, and she said it was like stuck in her head. And then she was giving me some A&R advice about um how to make the song even better. And I think that's the version that you guys are playing right now, which was to speed it up a little bit from 95 BPM to 97. And then yeah, she was like, it's a smash. And I just felt like it was such a incredible blessing and cosign. And then what I was already really promoting the song heavily because of all the reasons I talked about how much it meant to me. But having someone like her like it just gave me that extra bit of validation. And that was back in, I think it was August. And then from then, I really started going even harder, making all my videos. And then more recently, Selena Gomez premiered her Golden Globes look with the song. And that took it from, I think it was already at 18, climbing the charts. On Instagram, and then that took it from 18 to like 10 to 4 to 3 to 2, 1, like in 48 hours.
What was that like, waking up to that news?
It was the same day that I got evacuation notices for my place in LA. So it was a very strange dichotomy of emotions. Like the January was one of the most stressful months of my life just because I was watching my adopted city go up in flames while seeing a song that I love so much, start to connect. And so it was definitely bittersweet. It humbled me because I didn't really get the like highs of how that maybe would have felt if nothing was going on. But I was just and still I'm just so grateful because this is completely independent music, and the fact that it's connecting in this way, and the fact that it's a pop song about meditating and all of that is really cool.
When, have you heard it on the radio yet? Like, and where were you when you heard it for the first time?
I was in my parents' kitchen, which is really adorable. We have a video of it that I posted as well, which is really cute. I like pointed to either of them and said, "All I need is chai and sunshine." And it was a lot of fun.
That's amazing. Now, like when you know that this song is going, especially as an independent artist, and then you have the cosign from Rihanna, you get a cosign from Selena Gomez. What is going on in your mind where you're like, I have to keep pushing this because I know it's streaming now over 1 million streams and counting, which is amazing. But like this is huge for you to capitalize on. And from what I gather, you are not only the artist, you're managing yourself, you're, marketing yourself. When is Angelique sleeping and how is she managing to do all of this?
Thanks for asking. I'm not like I'm sleeping okay, but it's a lot to be honest. I am thinking of getting some management soon. But just because it's a lot to juggle, but I definitely feel aligned right now. Just I feel like I'm writing like the best songs of my life. I feel like I finally have like a little window open. I'm really ready to just burst through it because I've had a lot of these songs and ideas and concepts for a while, and now that I finally found the tribe of people who are connecting to me and what I'm saying, it's really funny. Those the record label and record executives always try to market you, when you're an artist who's newly signed or even just a person that's new to them. And marketing for me has always been very tricky. I think I'm ethnically, ambiguous in terms of the states. They used to say I was urban, but could also get into like white rooms. And so I always kind of felt like a little bit misunderstood in terms of my identity, not just racially, but also with what I was interested in, because I love genre bending and I love genre clashing, and I'm not this monolith, you know. And so I finally feel like I have connected to who my audience is, which turns out to be an extension of my friend group, which are like, you know, therapists and meditators and yoga instructors and life coaches and holistic nutritionists. The song's really connected with women and wellness and millennial women and wellness. So it's funny how people think so much about marketing when it could be the easiest thing, like who are you friends with, and what's an extension of that?
Joining us on the show is Juno Award-winning recording artist ANJULIE. Don't forget to follow her on all of her social media platforms, including Instagram at ANJULIE Music. I remember because I actually before we did this interview or we're doing this interview today, I went back and listened to our last interview that we did in 2018 because I wanted to see what I talked to you about then and see how things have evolved. And one of the things that we talked about then was the Modernization Act and
Mhm.
and your position on it. And now, streaming has taken over so much of the music industry. So where are you now on all of that? And what's your relationship like when it comes to streaming? Because I know a lot of artists do not make a lot of coin off of streaming unless they've got a bajillion streams.
Yeah. I think it's yeah, it's a tricky situation right now with streaming. I think touring is important, being able to get film and television syncs, being able to have, if you're also building your social media to do things like brand deals and all of that in terms of monetizing as an independent artist or any artist really. Streaming is trickier. It's harder to really make money unless, like you said, you have a billion streams or hundreds and hundreds of millions. There are some songs that I have that, luckily enough, have connected in that way. A lot of them were collaborative, where I was the secondary artist and there was like primary artist, whether that be a DJ or someone else, where they were kind of, the face of the record, and I was more not along for the ride, but like in a supportive role. So I think like it's important to kind of diversify in terms of how you're making your money as an independent artist, because relying just on a song getting a billion streams is far from a sure bet.
Now, we have to talk about your collaboration with Nelly on Eat Your Man, and Dom Dalla. Such a great song. I didn't know that you knew Nelly, and of course you would because you're such a well-known Canadian artist here in our country and obviously doing what you're doing in the States. But how did your relationship with Nelly start? I'm sure it's been years long.
Yeah, my relationship with Nelly started as a obsession thing on my part. I just loved her. I mean, every song on Whoa Nelly was like incredibly influential, and just her as a human, like she's just really like one of the real ones. And then I got friendly with her. I can't remember when we became friends, but it's been years now. And we got into the studio a few times and we tried things, and we would just hang, and eat and dance and have fun. And then it turned into when it was time for her comeback, and I don't even want to call it a comeback because she's been making unbelievable music throughout every year, I'm pretty sure. But when she started, releasing these new songs and deciding to get back into up tempos and dance and all of that, she planned like a Valentine's trip for me and her and Dom Dalla, who is the artist she collaborated with on the song. And we wrote a couple of songs. We actually wrote Eat Your Man and Ready for Myself, which is the collaboration with Dom that's on her album. And it was just a blast. Like we spent Valentine's Day in Philadelphia. We wrote Eat Your Man in an Uber, getting lost to the studio in a snowstorm. And we just ate a lot of good food and had a lot of laughs and made some cool music. So I was just very grateful to be part of her story and this new moment for her.
When you're working with like a Nelly Furtado or writing with like for Kelly Clarkson and all that kind of stuff, like how does that work for you? Like are you actually in the room? Obviously with Nelly you are, but are you in the room with a Kelly Clarkson or a Lady Gaga or Nicki Minaj and how does that relationship go?
No, I wasn't in the room with Kelly, Nikki, or Gaga. I was working with the other songwriters and producers on the record. And then I think for the Nicki Minaj one, it was myself, Jean-Baptiste, and Jonas J. Bergen. We were just actually, I think it was kind of like a freestyle, and I was just kind of writing it maybe for my album. And then when it didn't turn out to, work for me, then it got placed with Cassie first. And then Diddy like released it on YouTube, and then Nikki's camp heard it and wanted it, so they pulled it off of YouTube, and then she recorded it properly. For example, that's how that went. So, and then I did see Nikki when she was doing the vocals or cross path with her in the studio, and it was all like love. And but yeah, it happens all different ways. For somebody like Nelly Furtado, who's like extremely hands-on and an extremely good writer. I mean, she wrote "I'm Like a Bird" by herself on guitar. Like that girl can write a song. So it's a lot of fun when the artist is that much of a songwriter because I can kind of geek out with them and have a lot of reverence for that talent. And I really love that, to see that in other people, and love to like give it space to shine. So that yeah, there's just different, I'd say, depending on the artist, and there's no like good way or bad way. I think I'd be super happy to have like an Adele or somebody cut a song that I wrote, and never see them or anything. That would be really rad. So yeah, I'm not precious with how it happens, just that it hopefully does happen.
Is there someone else, Anjali, that's still on your bucket list of you collaborating with, like to write a song for them or with them?
Um, Max Martin. I mean, he's not uh, like a celebrity. I think he's kind of a celebrity in the music industry, but he's a producer and songwriter who I think is phenomenal, and who I've always like wanted to work with. So yeah, he would be my person. But in terms of artist, Rihanna definitely.
Have you hit her up in the DMs yet to make that?
Well, she hit me up when the record went to #1 and congratulated me and just said that she knows like how hard I've been working and how much I deserve this, which was like just so amazing to hear. Um, and who knows? I mean, she's got the Smurf song out right now. Who knows what'll happen? But yeah, I
I do
try
have
not to like be too aggressive with things like that. Just let them organically happen and see how it goes.
I do have to ask you because the last time we spoke in 2018, I had asked you to confirm or deny if you were a massive Janet Jackson fan because I am also, and you did. We talked about Velvet Rope. Are you still a big Janet fan, and have you been able to see her in concert yet?
I've seen her in concert before. I mean, not very recently, but yeah, I love Janet Jackson so much. I mean, I think her vocal ability is incredibly underrated. I think her as an artist she's just incredibly underrated. It's insane that both of those kids were in the same family, but I think if they were in two different families, they would still have done as well as they did. And the song though that I'm particularly obsessed with right now is why am I saying on time? There are times when I look
Together
above
again.
me. Yeah, together again. That one. That
I'm
one.
glad because I asked you about that back in 2018, and you still said that song in 2018. So,
That's so funny. Yeah.
so you're consistent if nothing else. You also said that you really liked I Get Lonely also back in
Yeah,
20.
I knew that dance and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's so many like Miss You Much and that some of that older stuff. I didn't love the like Black Cat stuff, like the super rocky stuff, but I did love If.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though that
That's
had like
amazing.
that little guitar part. Yeah.
And
Um,
I was, getting again prepared for our interview today, and I found this interview that you did like a long time ago with somebody else, and you did this thing where you talked about like 10 things people didn't know about you. And one of them was that you were massively influenced by Alanis Jagged Little Pill and Lauryn Hill's The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Is that still the same? Is there ever an opportunity you think for you to work with an Alanis? Have you worked with Alanis?
No, I haven't worked with Alanis. I played the Billboard Women in Music Awards in September, and she was there getting honored. And I meant to, go backstage and just say hi, thanks for inspiring my life. But I didn't get to say that, unfortunately, because I don't know, somewhere else at the time. But she's been hugely influential, yeah. And Lauryn Hill and Janet, yeah, I'd say all of them.
Um, when it comes to the fact that obviously like you're an artist, you're working on your artist stuff now, and then you've worked with all these other artists, and you're obviously extremely talented as that. Is it difficult to split yourself down the middle, or like do you just kind of ebb and flow through when you want to be the artist and when you're working with other artists?
I don't have an issue with it at this point. I mean, it's a completely different hat to wear, to try to realize someone else's dream is a lot of fun for me. I have nieces and nephews. I'm very maternal. I love to love, like I love to, like support. And I, although it's nice to be recognized and everything, I am, very, very good to be behind the scenes when need be. I've been, like I said, like the secondary artist on many, many tracks in my career to the point where they're like, the DJ is like playing, Diplo's playing it at Coachella, and like I'm just like home watching the YouTube videos or whatever. Like, and it's my voice like that everyone's singing along to and jumping to, and my writing and all of that. But and maybe at certain points it was kind of like a harder thing to swallow. But at this stage, I'm just super proud that I can be part of the tapestry of pop music.
And what would you want up and coming artists to know in the music industry, especially being a Canadian artist? Obviously, you've had your foot in Canada forever, and I know you split your time with the States, but all these years later for you, you're still having to put out a lot of effort to be where you are. What advice would you either give, like I said, an up and coming artist or yourself at 19 years old?
Just that it doesn't. I think the music industry plays an evil trick, and that trick is to make people think, predominantly young artists, predominantly women, that there's a time limit to your success. And I think that is complete and utter nonsense. I would say a stronger word, but I think we're like airing this somewhere. I think the music industry smells and runs on insecurity, and that's how they keep people on this kind of like hamster wheel, and how they cause so many of these artists to burn out or go, a little crazy after a while. And I think it doesn't matter. In my experience, people connect to authenticity, and there are a lot of people out there who don't care what you look like or how old you are or anything other than whether or not your song makes them feel something. And so that would be my advice, to not worry so much about chasing something and feeling like you have to do it by an expiry date.
Obviously, you have way more road track to go when it comes to your career. But looking back at what you've achieved so far, what would you say is one of the biggest moments in your career so far that is like always impactful for you? Like knowing like you achieved this or you did this or this happened and it made you feel good.
Like to answer that super honestly, it's not a moment like of accolades or awards or recognition or anything. It's really every morning I write music, and sometimes when I'm in that process, there's like a moment when the song kind of clicks and comes together. And that moment is the most exciting thing for me. It's like it's the thing that I'm personally chasing. And I don't think that there's ever going to be a time limit on it. I hope there isn't. But it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like an opening up of the sky. It's a channeling. It's like a this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is my purpose. It's like that feeling when you solve a puzzle. You know what I mean? This thing that the way that you see the world is able to be expressed, and you like the way you're expressing it. It's the single most exciting thing that I've ever experienced.
Is there anybody right now in Canadian pop music that you have your eye on or you're cheering them on from afar or you've met them? Like I know again in our 2018 interview we talked about like Rhea May, and I know she's kind of making a comeback now too, for lack of a better word. But is there somebody that you've kept your eye on, like Alessia Cara or Tyler Shaw or Jamie Fine or whoever?
Yes. I am such a believer of Canadian talent. Like I think it's still, even though we've seen so much success here, it's still a kind of an untapped resource. But Liz Lockery, who's also a dear friend of mine, is incredibly talented. I think her IG is just that, Lizlokre. Beautiful voice, plays guitar, does spoken word, does poetry, just is also West Indian and from the GTA. And yeah, and I'm also very inspired by all these comebacks that are happening, like the Nellies and the Rhea Mays, and I feel like there's a
On
lot.
Desmond?
What's that?
On Desmond?
Yes, Sean, like it's just so rad to see this is happening and to the same point of the fact that like yeah, like connection is the most important thing and nobody cares about anything else, you know. I think people also have a certain they hold a certain place in their heart for nostalgia. So if you are the kind of artist who can tap into that, my friends, the Cataracts just released a new song with Dev called, I think it's called The Whistle Song, and it's amazing. And this is like 15 years after like a G6, and I think the song's gonna do incredibly well. So that's another, you know, a group of people that I think are incredibly talented and just have been like so consistently making music and getting better and honing their skills. And, you know, pop music is an interesting thing because it feels like it is the easiest thing to do because it's simple. It's like a 3 minute catchy song, but it is so hard to actually get all the chemistry right in order for it to really like hit in that way where it's just like, oh yeah, you know, I love this. So I have a lot of respect for people who do it in a, you know, to a certain like level of greatness.
Now, I have to ask you a few fast fact questions before we wrap up, just so again to get your fans up to speed with what's going on with you. If you could switch places for one day with any artist or producer, who would it be and why?
Again, Max Martin, because I just think that I would just want to know what it feels like to think about music in the way that he thinks about it. And then um, artist is a trickier one because I don't love touring. Like I don't. So it would be someone who's a little bit more like, honestly, Rihanna. I feel like she's like, you know, living her life and has a really good work-life balance and isn't like slave to the music industry in a way that a lot of other artists are. So yeah, she'd probably be the one.
As an amazing songwriter that you are, is there a song right now in Top 40 radio that you wish you had written?
Yes. There's an artist named Debbie Dawson. She's an incredible artist. She's Indian American, and she has a song called, I think it's called Happier Now. And it's beautiful. It sounds like, you know, ABBA meets like uh, I don't even know, like Paul McCartney or something. Like she does an acoustic version on her YouTube, and that's the one that I really fell in love with.
What is always in Angelie's fridge?
Oh, mung mung bean hummus.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
No
it's
one has ever
complete with
answered that.
all your omega 3s. It's really good.
That's great because like the most original answer I've gotten so far was somebody actually said lettuce, which I thought was awesome. So
Yeah,
I like your
healthy.
answer. Um, what show, like either a TV show or like I should say a sitcom or like a drama from back when you were growing up, do you wish was rebooted now, like that you could watch again?
That's a good question. You mean as if they had new episodes?
Yeah.
I mean, Friends is so cliche, but something about Jennifer Aniston does warm my heart, I'd say.
I'm with you.
And Seinfeld. What's Julie Louis-Dreyfus is like one of my actually, you know what it would be? Veep. Honestly, it would be Veep. I think Veep is like a masterpiece of a show, and I
Okay.
just wish it had. Do you know that show?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, yeah. I just wish it continued.
Um, I have to ask you too, if you could be in a group text with any boy band or girl group, who would it be?
I like these creative questions that you have. A group text with a boy, I feel like that's not quite my thing. I've never really been the boy band audience,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
when I was 10 years old, which I think is the target audience. Um, Girl group though, Destiny's Child probably. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I like that. I have some Montreal questions for you because I have to. Uh,
Yeah.
what's the best thing about Montreal, and when was the last time you were here?
The best thing about Montreal is my best friend Nisa Barkat, who is just the coolest person I know, and also my personal like cheerleader and like mentor and like just awesome. She's my Gail or Oprah, however you want to say it. And the last time I was there was, I think it might have been when I saw you like 6 years ago.
Wow, so that's been a hot minute.
Yeah, trop long. Is that what
Yeah,
you
it's so
said?
long. Will you come back? I know you said you don't like touring, but with the success that you're having now, and I know more music is on the way, like, will you do maybe some Canadian dates?
Yes, I will. I will do Canadian dates for sure. I just don't want to like go to, you know, Yellowknife. No one's touring Yellowknife, but like I don't want to be on a bus in a snowstorm for longer than an hour. That's where I draw the line.
Amazing. And I know it's been a while since you've been to Montreal, but do you remember like your favorite like restaurant here or like experience that you had? Because we obviously we're known for our food. So is there like a thing here?
Yeah, I had steak and frites,
Good.
right? Yeah, at it's a very famous place. You would probably know it. I had like red checkered tablecloths and everything. And
Okay.
it
Oh, I think I know which one.
bar.
Was it Joe Beef? No. Was it Joe Beef?
Was it by the train station? It was like it
Maybe.
was runnable because I was late after eating my steak frites to the train station.
Amazing. And what do you want to tell your Montreal fans? Because we have been with you, like I feel like since 2009, maybe longer, but it feels like when Brand New Chick came out, like it's just we've been with you forever.
Oh, I appreciate that. I love Montrealers, man. Like anytime I'm working with someone and they tell me they're from Montreal, I know they're gonna have that extra special sauce because I feel like Montreal Canadians have this like I don't know. It's like a it's a little it's as a writer and observer and a person interested in that craft, I'm very interested in when people have an outlook of the world that's a little bit different. And I feel like that breeds a lot of creativity. And a lot of that comes from your background and how you were raised and where you come from and all of that. So I think there's something that Montreal Canadians have that's that like little extra special something.
And you are releasing more music. Are we getting an album?
Yes. Yes, I'm working on it every day and I'm super excited about it. And
Amazing.
I'm testing it. I'd love to know too what you think. Like if there's this snippet that I post that you like, please like heart it or tell me or something.
Amazing. And I'm gonna let you go, but I did want to ask, just speaking of social media, I do have to bring this up. Is it a love-hate relationship with social media for you, or all love, or have you figured out how to navigate it for it to work for you? Because obviously I know you need it right now as a big platform to get your music out.
Yeah. I hate is a strong word. Love sometimes dislike maybe because I do love it. I love it as a platform. I love to be able to connect with people on there. It's a large part of the reason why this moment has been happening and why we're even talking right now and why the song's been connecting. So love for sure. And also I think the only problem with it is that when you're an artist or creative, I think the most important part is like what I was talking about earlier about those moments of being able to really hone in and focus on your craft. And sometimes having to be a self-marketer and a self-promoter and 100%er and the CEO of your own brand identity or whatever that means is very overwhelming and it can take over from what's most important. So that I find a little tricky sometimes to navigate. And so I try to keep very concentrated amounts of time without my phone, or else I will probably turn into a crazy person.
Well, not to me. I'm super happy, so proud of you, and I will continue to support you and all of my audience. I'm so excited for them to get you meet you now on like in a video platform, on our channel and everything. So, thank you so much for doing this, and always wishing you the best.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the support and these thoughtful questions.
Don't forget to check out Juno Award-winning recording artist, writer, and entrepreneur ANJULIE. Check her out on all of her social media at ANJULIE Music.
Hey, it's Kelly Alexander, and thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Kelly Alexander Show, so you are the first in line for all the cool content coming your way.